A customer storms up to a shop counter and slams a box down. She is furious. The egg wine she purchased, she claims, is sour. The shopkeeper opens the box, takes a sip, and realizes it tastes completely normal. He presents his defense. He explains the wine is fine, and then points out that he sold 300 boxes of that exact batch this week, and she is the single person to complain. On paper, the shopkeeper wins the debate. He uses empirical data and data-backed proof to dismantle her argument. But in the real world, the interaction is a failure. The customer leaves insulted, and he loses her business permanently. We often approach communication as if we are dealing with logical machines. This mindset is why so many interactions in business and leadership fail. Human behavior isn't governed by a spreadsheet. It's driven by a hidden, often irrational psychological rulebook. Take the story of a monk who isolates himself deep in the mountains. He spends decades claiming to have shed every ounce of worldly desire and vanity. One day, a student visits and tells the monk he is the only person alive truly free from the need for praise. The supposedly enlightened monk immediately beams with pride and strokes his beard. This same hair-trigger pride shows up on the highway. A 60-year-old driver is cruising along until two teenagers pull up and rev their engine. Suddenly, the grandfather slams the gas, risking his safety in a reckless street race, just because his ego felt challenged. These examples reveal how easily our sense of importance can override our common sense. Because pride is such a dominant force, the most effective way to gain influence is to stop defending your own ego and start validating theirs. In 18th century France, an agronomist named Antoine Parmentier needed to convince a skeptical public to eat potatoes. He had all the nutritional data to prove they were a miracle crop, but the public refused to listen to the science. He switched tactics. He planted a royal potato field and stationed elite guards around it during the day. Then he intentionally left the field completely unguarded at night. The public assumed anything under such heavy guard must be a forbidden treasure meant for the king. They began sneaking in to steal the potatoes, and within a year, the worthless crop had spread across the country. We are hardwired to want what we aren't supposed to have. Creating an aura of mystery and exclusivity will consistently outpersuade a lecture on the facts. Why do we pay millions for an original painting when a replica is visually identical? Or why do couples on the verge of divorce suddenly hesitate when they look at old wedding photos? We are anchored by an invisible psychological tether. Our decisions are rarely based on a current cost-benefit analysis. They are rooted in our memories and our hopes for the future. Even a hyper-rational mechanical engineer who rejects the supernatural can change under pressure. If they face enough heartbreak or failure, they will often turn to superstition and prayer, grasping for any sense of hope to keep going. Stripping away that hope removes a person's strength. However, if a leader can identify and speak to those emotional anchors, they can inspire people to endure nearly any hardship. These psychological maneuvers define how the most influential organizations are built. The individuals who change the world recognize that raw logic is often secondary to human feeling. Soichiro Honda scaled his automotive company by prioritizing team morale over engineering blueprints. He fostered an atmosphere of optimism and open communication, allowing his small team to outpace the largest manufacturers in the world. Elvis Presley's rise was fueled by the raw, physical energy of his performances. He provided an emotional release that his audience was starving for, creating a connection that went far deeper than the technical quality of the music. The common thread among highly successful leaders is an intuitive grasp of the human operating system. They treat people as they actually are, rather than how a computer thinks they should be. Modern corporate models, like those used by General Motors, reflect this reality. Technical skill is merely the baseline. The real impact of a leader comes from their ability to regulate their emotions, show empathy, and make the people around them feel valued. The next time you need to align a team or win a difficult argument, leave the spreadsheets and the cold logic at the door. Think back to the guarded potato patch. Think of the driver risking everything to protect his pride. If you want to achieve real influence, you have to stop talking to the logical machine. You have to finally learn to speak to the human.